Vlogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply. Alright, so this is the vlogcast for round 20. Fyfie joined by Ant.
G'day.
Teach.
Hello.
Penal.
Hi there.
Dan.
Old MacDonald had a fuck. E-I-E-I-O.
And he's in exile at the moment, but joining us we have Marto.
G'day, folks.
Anyway, Marto, you were saying before, what were you telling us before?
Well, I had a little trip over to the Carlton board on Thursday night, so
Fail.
yeah. Look, I've been having a read. There's accusations that I squibbed the Bay because we're apparently going to lose on the weekend. But no, I had a mini meltdown over on the Carlton board over Cameron Wood, and I think I'm banned for 2 weeks. So it's not good. No, I'm missing posting. I've got so much to say and I can't say it on the Bay. It's
Well, you were stupid enough to go over to the Carlton board and try and say something sensible. I mean, of course you're going to get banned.
He said something about Wood not being hard enough. He was a bit soft.
Oh, so he told the truth, and now he's banned. Well, bad luck, mate. We can't help you.
But we'll start there because, well, Carlton Fremantle.
The only time I bagged for Freo this year, basically.
But it was amazing after the way North imploded. And they were like, oh no, Cameron Wood's not as bad as you said. And then he coughs the ball up to, who was it? Fucking Neil, wasn't it?
Lockie Neal, yeah.
And costs them the match. It was just glorious.
It was just, I mean, you just sort of thought that they could have won it. I mean, they looked like that they could have snatched it, but you knew in the back of your mind it was never going to happen.
It's extremely disappointing. I wanted Carlton to win. I suppose for a little bit.
Who
of
wants Carlton to win?
Okay.
People who are supporting sides in the top 4 race,
You're a bad person
particularly
for
top
that.
2 race.
I wanted Freo to lose. We'll put it
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right.
So I was hoping Port would leapfrog Freo into the top 4, but well, I suppose after Sunday we probably don't deserve it anyway. So now I'm still on for 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks.
How dare you post on the Carlton
You're on
board?
10 points now, man, so you got a year to wait for them to come off.
To be honest, we're not going to miss you because you've been bullshitting on the fair bit.
There's so much more bullshit to give, and unfortunately for you lot, I can't give it at the
You
moment.
may have posted, but at least you didn't like a post, because that don't do that.
Oh, no,
Yeah, he would have been gone for like
That's a
4 weeks
cardinal
if he'd
sin.
done that.
You would have got more than Reece Conker.
Don't you dare lurk like posts.
But yeah,
Don't.
what have
don't do it.
we got on that game? Because
Well, if you're dyslexic, you could change the score around.
Oh.
Is it time
Go
for
them
Carlton to
Blue
do the
Baggers. Wait, I read that wrong.
Is it time for Carlton to do the unthinkable and bring back Robbie Warnock?
Oh, no. Really? Oh, bring back Robbie Warnock.
Have they actually got a ruckman that's not a spud?
Well, I mean, Robbie Warnock probably would have kicked
Cruz's
it
face is kinda like
directly
a
along
spot.
the ground 5 meters, so he wouldn't have coughed that up.
Sean Hampson would be their best ruckman if he was still there.
Backhanded slap to the face to Fyfie
not
there.
really, because it's more of an insult to them, because he's in our twos. But yeah, Waite's starting to realise his potential. You know, he's looking at getting a nice contract from North as well.
Oh, please no. 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 We don't need injury-prone, inconsistent, spastics
He
like
could
Wade.
be anything.
He couldn't be any
We've got
worse
enough
than
of those
Magic
already.
Ball.
I was going to say you got Del Santo.
Yeah, well, at least he's consistent with a small dick.
Hey, wait is just like Magic Door,
Wait.
but more experienced.
Wait, what? What are we waiting
Yeah.
on?
Are we waiting for short still?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, is he still coming, or
No.
are we waiting for him?
Why are you saying wait so much?
This is a really funny joke.
This season's weighted us
wait
down,
for
yeah.
the punchline.
Oh, shit.
The fucking laughs are taking as long to develop as fucking weight himself.
I thought you were going to say it's brain.
Anything else on that game? Look, the Hobbit came back and he did stuff all for the first 3 quarters, but first 2 quarters, and then really turned it on late.
It was like Carlton were playing their grand final for the first 3 quarters, so Ballantyne thought it was the grand final, and he like stunk it up, and then maybe in the 4th quarter he remembered it wasn't a grand final, and it's like, oh, I can play well now.
Ghost of Leon Davis was taunting him.
It went exactly to script as you would have thought. I mean, Fremantle have not been playing well of late, and Carlton could have got them, but like a Greek tragedy, it just all unravelled before them, and Fremantle got them by the throat.
It was more of a comedy than a tragedy, to be honest.
Yes, I guess so, depending on your point of view.
Except for Marto, who cried and then got banned.
They were angry tears.
What were you thinking, Marto?
I have to say, Marto, you have that unique ability to know you're biting, yet still bite again.
I don't think when I get mad. When I get mad, the posts just come out and
Do you rip your shirt off and go green?
pretty much.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
On that note, we'll move to something else that made Marto angry, so that he couldn't go go green on the Bay. Port running out of puff against Collingwood.
Ooh.
Extremely disappointing. That game gave me a throbbing headache. It was so frustrating to watch. I couldn't imagine any neutral enjoying that game, but Port, I don't know what to say. They've just gone that far downhill. There's still time to turn it around. They're still in the 8, but there's perhaps a work rate issue, definitely a confidence issue, and just too handball happy, kicking to.
Mate, I just reckon it's an experience issue. You've arrived probably a year early, and you're just about there, but
Bay covers.
yeah, you're just running out of gas.
I don't think it's a fitness thing. I thought that the boys would be fresher this week, but I think there's confidence issues. I think teams have worked this out a bit better. Probably Adelaide, I hate to say it, by blueprint with too much with all the pressure on the ball carrier, and got to find a way around it.
You'll be
So
better,
you think they
you'll
look
be
like
better for
a
it
bit,
next year. I'll be better for it next year, but I think that this season is going to kind of peter out for the rest of the year. But don't be too upset, because it's a great side and they will be better for it.
Mate, we've gone too mainboard here, and Marto sounds like he's about to cry.
Okay. Well,
The backlash has come as well against Wingard. Come on, jump to the defence, Marto.
I don't know how committed he is to football at the moment. You hear some of the things he said earlier in the year about, he doesn't watch any games and things like that. It does make you think. He really hasn't looked very interested in the last few weeks.
You're fucking kidding me? He was a fucking superstar.
He was.
earlier in the year.
Yeah, but what's happened to him, though?
Maybe Rioli is better than him.
No, let's not go overboard, eh?
He realised how much better Bruce was than him, and then he just stopped trying. It's like, I'm never going to compete with Luke first, so he stopped trying.
Anyway, the Bay missed out. I was ready to have a big melt, and because I had my posting privileges taken away, you all missed out. And Amstaff, I'm going to call him Amstaff. Don't care if it's Amstaff.
You mean Melt Staff? Or Melt Staff, or...
Did he fill in? Did he take my place? I didn't see him melting.
He didn't really this week. I think it's acceptance now.
Surely he could have melted in my place.
No, just not even doing the team things on Bay 13 Port.
I actually went to this game with some mates, and Christ on a stick, it was cold. My beer nearly turned into a Slurpee.
Who are your mates? Sue's,
son of Reek.
Suze doesn't go to games.
No, but we took her though. We took the horse and cart, and we parked the car.
She was drinking pots.
The bandwagon.
Yeah, she was drinking pots. Pisshead cheers. But we copped a little bit of flack from Collingwood supporters sitting behind us when we decided to remain seated and not clap as Nick one-on-one with the grass Maxwell in his pre-game lap of honour, in the car. We were the only ones just sitting down, just twiddling with our thumbs. And guys behind us saying, "Hey guys, come on, stand up. The champion is retiring." It's like, what champion?
It's the car
What are you talking
retiring.
about? It's the car retiring. Yeah, so we copped a bit of stick for that. From the game, side bottom is the star. The opposition sides just don't pay enough attention to him.
And they probably
Yeah,
should have, because
right,
Swan
he
wasn't
is
there, nor
a-
was Luke Ball. So they had Port could have put time into him and Pendlebury because they were the two main guys, and they didn't. You know, he falls down the chain a bit normally, but he was up a bit this
He
week.
does,
Like,
yeah.
He should have been a second priority behind Pendles.
Well, he's been very good all year. Well, Teach called it a few weeks ago. He reckons they were going to go on the slow decline, and they sort of are. I mean, they're still playing reasonable footy. I mean, they could have won yesterday, but, you know, they're just declining just a little bit. Sorry, Marto.
They,
It's just
they
the
have
one
just run out of legs.
bandwagons.
And a lot of people on Big Footy love to compare teams to Geelong 2006. I know everyone was on board Carlton 2012 equals Geelong 2006. And that worked out well for the Carlton supporters. But I think
Yeah,
Port,
but that's Carlton.
I think Port this year, there's a lot of similarities with Hawthorn's 2007 season.
Boo.
I think that year they
Boo.
started...
Boo.
It's not even I'm pumping out the goo for Port here. It's like, Port have started
It's a goo
so
down.
well. They'll be better for this year, and next year, watch out, they will probably make the grand final.
Marto, you better drink that.
Does it hurt?
The goo?
Yeah. You know, flogging it out must be shriveling away. Hey, too much goo.
I'm trying to compliment another team
You should
here.
do
and
that
you
for
guys are
Geelong.
already just starting up.
Don't compare us to Hawthorn, though. I don't want to hear about how much potential your team had 7 years ago or whatever. It's irrelevant.
Hey, fucking 7 years ago, your team wasn't even... It didn't even fucking exist.
7 years ago, they won 19.
No history. One premiership.
Actually, 7
It was
years
more
ago, they
recent.
played off in the grand final. They got the shit case smacked out of them, but they played off in the grand final.
Anyway, before we move on from that game, we will go back to Eddie having a sook over the Nick Maxwell lap because he couldn't run it at half time, which no one gets to do.
Boo-hoo.
What's wrong with Eddie?
Look,
What?
Eddie had a cry because Maxwell couldn't do his lap at half time. He had to do it 20 minutes before the game because, geez, you know, the car might run over kids at half time, which, you know, that's a rule everyone has to abide by. But Eddie's like, oh.
Yeah, because running over kids is not cool or awesome.
Yeah, that's the Collingwood way, isn't it?
Maybe Maxwell
he
could
was
have been a
having a-
cannibal and run around himself without a car.
He was having a sook because it had to happen before the game and not at half time. Is that right?
Yeah, 20 minutes before the game, there's no one there. That's a quote from Eddie. There's no one there 20 minutes before the game.
Oh, bullshit. Look,
There was no one there fucking during the game either. Collingwood had a pathetic crowd. 32 grand.
I love the final quote from him as well. This is a Collingwood home game. It's not the AFL's game. It's not the MCG's game. Well, where the fuck else are you going to play it and what competition?
Well, but 20 minutes before the game, at least Nick Maxwell's opponent was on the ground.
God, he's lucky he got a lap of honour to begin with. I mean, why is he nitpicking over when it's going to happen and shit?
I just
Tell you
find
what, there was
hilarious.
nothing surer than Eddie having a massive whinge about it, but equally there was nothing surer than fucking floggish Swans posters stinking up the main board and the bay with shit like, oh, I bet Eddie finds a way to blame this on Sydney. Just shut up.
Yeah, they're just not that relevant, are they?
No, it's your club's shit.
Well, we will move on to the Colas then. The Colas won the Cheats Cup on Friday. They beat
What
Essendon.
happened to Buddy, though?
I think it was injunction. Maybe he crashed his car on the way.
Don't
Yeah,
hold
but
back.
You had another one of
Maybe
those sore butts injuries.
Butt injury.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard Sharon was in town.
Smash the Jeep.
He had a big party to go to because it was a Friday night, and usually gets his Friday nights off. But
High five him, Vlad.
Or maybe he's still too traumatised after all the booze the Hawthorn supporters gave him the week before.
That would be, yeah, that fits.
We all heard about that with Buddy's girlfriend coming out and
Jacinta
saying he's-
defending him and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe-
wasn't the
Mate,
official
Stop it.
reason for his
You're
admission
upsetting
listed
Buddy.
as...
Stop it.
Maybe he cried himself to sleep over it.
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sherwood came over and gave him a big hug.
The official reason for him being out was listed as soreness, wasn't it? It must just have been feeling
Yeah,
soreness.
soreness was the injury, quote unquote, he had when he was on 3 strikes last year.
Oh, so you're telling us we're not going to see him for the rest of the year?
I don't know. That's what happened in Hawthorn.
Well, Ants called it early, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting.
That's the worry, because Sydney kind of played better without him, because then they've got the case of the Hawthorn 2012s, because they're more unpredictable without Buddy.
Small go.
So, Penal, is what you're saying, us Port supporters should hope that Buddy plays on the weekend?
Correct.
Okay.
Won't make a difference.
Anything else on that game? Look,
It was a good game of rugby. Move
yeah,
on.
it was good to see Essendon get rolled as well. Reasonably dull game for a Friday night. Yeah, we'll move on to North versus Geelong.
Oh, we don't have to
Scott
talk
off.
about it.
Yeah,
North
for the
up
top
again.
bunk,
The top bunk.
and Brad's
yes.
on the bottom again.
As it turned out, I didn't
Just
need
lost
to...
Susan's not a bedwetter.
Top bunk of teachers bandwagon.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the bandwagon this week. We'll have to ask Teach afterwards. But
Probably left it in
it
his
did-
garage.
I didn't need to bring bread.
He's driving Nick Maxwell around. He's retired the bandwagon.
Well, let's hope he killed him. No, I didn't need to bring breadcrumbs to the game because the umpires pretty much brought enough. Selwood, the fucking duck that he is, played like a fat duck in the pond. Quack, 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 quack. Coach Bombay would be proud of him, that's for sure.
You had your own
Hang
stages
on.
there.
Yeah. Let's
Cannonball
just stop
Thompson.
it. Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas, sorry.
You
Yeah.
got Majak dropping marks in the goal square.
Oh,
If
that
only-
was hilarious.
if only-
But yeah, no, Lindsay Thomas was diving. Fucking.
Yeah.
That was the worst of the year.
You know what? In defence, I will defend him a little bit. I
He's
think
been
there's
doing it all year. He's a staging little...
there's a
Yeah.
difference between diving and over-exaggerating contact, which is, I think, Lindsay
You
does.
just crucified Selwood for that.
Yeah,
Over-exaggerating contact. He fucking did a
Well,
triple somersault for Pike and all the judges put hands up.
they,
Fucking hell, man.
And the umpire blew the whistle.
and
That
he
was the
won
most
gold
bizarre
at the
part. The
Olympics.
umpire
Well done.
paid it.
No, there were technically hands in the back, and the free kick was given, but he did lunge forward. So
Lunge forward.
Lunge
I've never seen
forward,
someone go laterally. He was
Well,
taken off.
He was on the springboard, bouncing off the end of it.
He's auditioning for Superman versus Batman.
whether it's a dive or over-exaggerating contact, he has to stop doing it because it's just ruining his reputation, and he doesn't need to do it because he can kick goals on his own accord.
Well, he didn't on,
Righto,
he
you
didn't on
dickheads
Saturday.
finished.
He was
No, I'm-
criticised for not handballing enough.
Before Teach
No,
gets
you
in here,
think
I'm gonna side with Dan here because I don't think what Thomas does is as bad as what Selwood does.
Yeah, Selwood's a fat little duck in the pond.
Selwood is the one that always initiates the contact, and then he gets freeze for it. At least Thomas on this occasion didn't initiate the contact.
And at least Brad Scott says he can't do it. And obviously if he does, maybe Brad will forcibly remove him.
Righto, you shitheads can shut up now. Geelong won easy,
DJ was a bit of a
and
flog.
Geelong's youth came to the fore.
Who?
Murdoch,
Who?
Duncan, Christensen. Yes, we smashed them.
two
Never in doubt.
players.
We won. Shut up.
That's like that Hawthorn player
You're not
that
a real top four
Penal
team.
keeps going on about. What's his name? Struggler or something.
What happened to the wagon, Teach?
The North Melbourne bow. I told you, I crashed it. I swam away. Everyone died. I left it. It's
Poor.
I
Poor.
don't. Anytime. I mean, you know that I love North, Dan, but anytime they play Geelong, you can get fucked.
So, hang on. Is this the second time you've officially abandoned the wagon now?
This is about the
I
sixth.
think this is about the fourth or fifth. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm not getting back on it because it's
Whatever, Teach Farnham.
It's gone. I got
You're
cleared
gonna have another comeback tour.
They were actually
No, no.
singing the John Farnham, You're the Voice, at three-quarter time at the game.
Who was?
The stadium at three-quarter time on Saturday night. John Farnham, You're the Voice.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just saying they did.
Yeah,
You made the reference to
always
John
do that.
Farnham.
They always do that at North home games for some reason to try and get the crowd involved.
Well, I actually read a bloody roast on the North board saying, can you stop, whoever's doing that, whether it's the North media people or the announcer guy, whoever it is, can they stop singing fucking John Farnham songs?
Is he a Northie?
He's tried
He
to
is,
get the crowd to sing along, and it's like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? This is cringeworthy stuff here.
Sounds like a culture of gimmicks.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as singing in excess at a game.
Oh, here we go. You like my stuff? You like
Well,
my
it kind of
stuff?
it's kind of worked for them because Port are choking right now.
Oh,
And they've been pretty stiff in a couple of games.
Oh, on that note, let's move to another team that choked from South Australia, and it was the Crows. Everything was lining up for Adelaide after they beat Collingwood.
What the hell happened to
12
Adelaide?
And
Yeah,
they
they
lost to
screwed
West
that up.
Coast, who... West Coast are about the most mediocre team going round.
So what West Coast did well, though, is they put all their tools in the forward line, and then I can't remember which one of the Adelaide backmen went down injured, but they just couldn't man up. So they just kicked to their tools, they marked the ball, they won. It was pretty simple, really.
How do you let West Coast kick 20 goals on you?
Yeah.
It's like letting Melbourne
That's-
kick
yeah, that's
15 on you.
weird.
They somehow managed to find a way to let West Coast's shit midfield dominate them.
Yeah, that's the most bizarre thing. West Coast midfield dominated. It wasn't... Like, the forwards were good and they worked the game plan well, but no one manned up Hearn down back. And yeah, the midfield got on top.
Well, they've got Sir Pritis, so it's not really a surprise, is it?
The superstar.
Superstar Sir Pritis.
Part-time.
I have to say, Pritis did kick it over a jam tin a couple of times in that game, so good on him.
Apparently, someone told me that he's the greatest West Coast midfielder of all time. I can't remember who that was, but
Some goo chugger.
yeah, some goo chugger told me that.
Well, on
He's
this
the
week's
greatest kick
performance,
over
would you
5
not
metres
agree?
I've ever seen.
The greatest of all time, not under the influence.
What, do we have much else on that game?
Nah,
Look,
who gives a
it's
shit?
opened up the finals a shitload. That's about it. Like, no one wants 8th
Man,
slot.
Let's all laugh at Dangerfield.
He was grimacing, wasn't
He
he?
was awful.
Clangerfield, I think he went at about 55% disposal efficiency. That's about his about standard.
Did Did Dangerfield re-sign?
I don't think
Yeah,
I
I don't
haven't
think
heard anything yet.
He's coming to North.
What would David swallow?
He said he wanted to win a premiership.
He's
Success?
brothers with Andrew Swallow. Oh,
What wasn't there a thread on the North board saying, "Can we trade Andrew Swallow?"
jeez, aren't they a fickle bunch? Why would you trade your captain and one of your best players? That's just dumb.
Because he provides no leadership.
Sounds like a Mario thread.
No, Mario says he blames the coach and everyone in the department and says to call up the membership people on Monday morning.
Say what you like about Maxwell, he's a better captain than Swallow.
Oh, for the fuck. No. I'm not copping that. No. You take that back. I'm not saying a word until Penal takes it.
I was standing by that comment.
No, well, I'm leaving.
Well, this is a man who says that Steggles Chickens is going to be all-Australian, so you don't need to take him
I
seriously.
took that one back, right? I took that one back after last week when he got dropped, but I won't take back the Maxwell Swallow
Nick
comparison.
Maxwell, the man that plays on grass, who doesn't play on anyone, the most unaccountable footballer in the history of our game, is a better captain than Andrew Swallow. Is that correct?
Yes.
Fuck off. No.
Yes.
No. No.
I think we need some goo for Swallow here.
Dan's finding it hard to swallow.
Yeah. That's a really fucked comment, Penal.
It's not the first time he's dribbled shit out of his chin.
You take things too
Hey.
far on here.
Do people other than Dan disagree with me?
No, Maxwell's all leadership. That's all he is.
He isn't even that.
He's better at guarding
How
space.
do you get inspired by a man that does nothing other than rack up cheat stats in the back line?
He points. That's leadership.
Oh, that's great. I feel so inspired to be playing next to Nick Maxwell. What a champion.
He kept Heath Shaw's ADHD in check for years
By doing what?
Pointing.
by pointing at him and telling him, "Fuck off, go stand over there, you're hyperactive."
Anyway, Dan, you don't need to get...
And you're
You
saying
don't need
Andrew Swallow can't inspire people like that?
Well, he's still got Boomer being all selfish and Lindsay, staging for free kicks and Majak sputting it up. Come on.
You don't need to get too wound up, Dan. He's retired. He's gone anyway, so don't worry about it.
Nick
No, it doesn't
Maxwell's
sit
a
well.
premiership captain, and Andrew Swallow even captained a winning final. What's he done?
I would not stand up for Andrew Swallow's lap around the ground, I don't think.
Oh, you're really pushing his buttons.
No.
Wouldn't surprise you.
This is not right.
Maxwell
on the
goes
bright-
down
no,
in the
seriously,
history
Dan,
books
look
as
on
a
the bright
premiership
side.
captain. Swallow
Dan.
goes down in the history books as the guy who got traded for pick 30.
Dan, look on the bright side. When he goes to the Gold Coast with his brother, you'll laugh at this. You look back and laugh.
Oh, yeah. It's the funniest fucking thing ever.
Anyway,
Finally, they
let's-
got to play with each other. Isn't that just great?
Let's move on, because Adelaide don't want 8th. No one wants 8th at the moment after Collingwood a few weeks ago, and now the Gold Coast is sneaking in. They finally got back on the winners board, and they beat St Kilda. They won a game without Ablett.
Who cares?
They got a bit of a dust up. I think I flicked over to the Gold Coast Saints game, and there was a bit of a punch on. Looked at the scoreboard, then went back to it was North Geelong.
game,
Yeah,
North
the
Geelong.
Scott off.
Look, all I can take out of that is Gold Coast. You know, they wouldn't have won without those 4 extra free kicks.
No, I was just about to ask the free kick count.
Yeah. 4 extra free kicks.
Bit shit by St
Cost them 8 goals.
I'd say
How did
that's
Stanley go?
Don't know.
from their last week, but
I'm sure Plugger will tell us.
St Kilda was
Back
shit.
to earth for St Kilda, I think.
Yeah.
And speaking of marching towards 9th, Richmond.
Hey, I said Richmond are going to finish 9th this year, and you were all like, "Oh, it's not
I
possible."
still maintain it's probably unlikely because we will have to beat the Swans.
And see, my prediction didn't come true because Hampson didn't play.
No, he didn't.
That's why GWS lost.
No, we were in control of that all game. That was the thing. It's a concern.
And Fyfie immediately just went bum 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 bum, yellow black, bum 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 bum.
Look, it was a pretty dull game, to be brutally honest. It was.
Did you go?
Yeah, I went because Hampson wasn't picked, as you said.
What about good old WWE Reece Conker?
No, he's not WWE. Lindsay Thomas is WWE. He actually hit him.
Oh, jeez. Well, doesn't that tell you something about a man who whacks someone from behind? It seems to be a pattern at Richmond these days.
I was going to say,
Devon Smith's
Vickery,
going to be Hayden
Conker.
Ballantyne one day. Just you watch. He does have that.
Devon Smith is an annoying little shit, but Dan's got a good point here. You've got Vickery, Conker. Who's next?
Did Hardwick defend him and say he was a tough, courageous Richmond player in his press conference?
I don't know. No idea.
No, didn't say a thing. But anyway, I mean,
Maybe Delidio will go for a contested ball.
GWS thought that they would really, really try and get under Richmond's skin. And for the whole game, they really sort of like niggled and wrestled and
But that's GWS all the time. It's the Kevin Sheedy niggling scumbag team they've been since they started, really.
yeah, well, Conker didn't like it, and he gave a bit of a how do you do back.
Yeah.
I'd argue Conker's just a massive attention whore. He was trying to take the attention away from Jake King. Jake King's the bloke we really should be talking about, the push-up king. He's a champion, and we're all going to admit it. We love him. Lots of goo for the king, the push-up king.
If Nick Maxwell and Andrew Swallow are going to get laps around the ground, he should get
Is he
one.
like a star in South Australia or something?
Oh, it's not just South Australia. I think he's well loved across the competition.
I don't particularly
He's
like
well
him.
liked amongst the bikie community.
Oh,
And the Richmond cheer squad, they love him.
I did enjoy the sculling of the beer at.
come on,
the
guys,
third
that was
quarter.
brilliant.
Were you shouting skull, skull, skull,
No, I was too
skull?
far away. I didn't actually know what he was doing till I got home and saw it on TV. But I thought that
He was washing down the KFC.
In King's defence, he does have a fair bit of character, which is refreshing in these days because most players are just a little boring and subdued off the field. Which
Joel Maker says hi.
It's not. Hey, no one with that haircut is subdued.
Or gay.
show making your pants.
Very festive.
Yeah, let's not show and make up this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to show maker in your pants.
But the other thing in that game was the lights went out, which if 2 more light towers had have gone, that game would have been a draw.
Or a gangbang.
Well, no.
Fyfie doesn't know where to go
Yeah,
from
I was
that.
trying to think of a
No.
comment, but I was like,
Majak
neither
wasn't
team,
playing.
Majak wasn't playing. Neither team's got Majak.
What would Bombers 2003 say?
Aaron Meadows.
You
doesn't
don't
go for
want to
Richmond.
know what he would say.
He'd be saying, no, that's a rolling ball.
But yeah, no, we were in control of that game for the most part. It was a bit of a nothing game really. Stuff happened. Wasn't boring. Wasn't interesting.
Stuff happened.
5 in a row, Fyfie. Get excited.
That's the first time you had 5 in a row in like
I
10
know,
years or something
weird,
like that, isn't it?
but still.
All aboard the Tiki train.
I was going to say, is the Tiki train excited? Is the delusion up to high at Punt Road that you're going to do something this year?
No, I'll believe.
No, but you're a realist. You're a realist, Tugger. What about the rest?
Well, I don't like to know, because yeah.
I'm just gonna put my Tiger Boys hat on for a second.
No, please don't.
And if Richmond scrape into 8th and they play Port first week of the finals, they'll probably win. And then they could be in a prelim. They could go all the way this year.
we can't go all the way.
That sounds like goo to me, Penal.
I reckon if we read the Richmond board right now, we will find that exact post
Oh, I hope not.
and a few likes.
That's a bit of reverse goo from people.
Yeah,
He's
Penal's
trying to-
sharing
trying
all
to
the goo
wind 'em
this
up.
week. I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, just wait until we get to the Hawthorn game.
Well, we'll go to that right now.
All right,
Ugh.
that was a pretty shit game. We couldn't kick straight, and Tassie's shit. I think that's it. Let's move on.
You shouldn't be sent to Tassie.
I was the only one.
That's fucking bullshit.
Even Penal,
Fuck
even
Tassie.
Penal said that it would be a close game. I was the only one that said it would be a slaughter Hawthorn's way, and I was right.
And imagine how much more the margin would have been if Clangers wasn't so shit.
Oh, no, he was pathetic.
He was awful.
He looks good in red.
Really, if the Dogs had turned up to actually kick the ball straight, we would have been a bit closer. It would have been a 30-point loss, not a 60-point
And
loss.
I got to be honest. Okay, mate, bit manboard here for a second. But what the fuck was McCartney doing, playing stringer behind the ball early? He's been the goal kicker for like the last
Because we got
4
such
months.
a
4
run
weeks he's
on,
been good.
and he just had to stop it at all costs.
No,
So it kind of worked.
I'm going to go all main board as well, but pretty much McCartney has spoken off air type of thing, and he said he's still using this year as a development year, and he said there's a couple of games where he's kept players in positions where they're not like Stringer playing in defence, because he's played half the year in defence.
So he's tanking, basically.
Why doesn't he do it against the real opponent? Why do you throw him back on Clangers?
Anyway, it created another couple of hundred posts in the never-ending Bulldogs board, sack McCartney thread.
Really?
The Dogs board is very bipolar on this. 1 week they love him, next week they want to sack him. So there you go.
But at least you take your criticism, yeah? You don't ban everyone who says bad things, like Marto.
No, but the thing is, we mostly get Geelong supporters get into that thread and just suck up McCartney's ass. So. Oh, we love him. He was from Geelong. He's like us.
Really?
Alright. So, been a bit of criticism of Sean Makers so far. I'll give it to you. He didn't have a great game, but he sort of played his role to sort of push up the field and let Roughhead star, close to goal.
Nick Maxwell played his role too,
Wow.
Oh,
Shields, what a player he is. Another best on ground performance from him. It's,
Goo.
here
definitely
comes the
amazing.
Brownlow.
Ew.
We
so
weren't going to talk much about this game.
3 votes.
We weren't supposed to.
He'll pick up the 3 votes, and if he hadn't been injury interrupted this year, he would have given the Brownlow a shake. But I reckon
I thought he was going to win it this year.
No, that's next year.
A
Next year.
special
So
mention
he's
to
not in it?
Hodge, you filthy little sniper, for whacking Griffin behind play.
Fat boy.
There you go.
Mm.
Yeah, fat boy.
The Liam Shields Brownlow 2015 bandwagon is real. Get on it now. He is a far more complete player than Fyfe.
I'm not getting on that wagon.
I'd say Fyfe is the better kick.
Oh, no.
Just on that real quick, it's looking increasingly likely that Fyfe will win the Brownlow. That would be as bad as when Chris Grant missed out, except for without the corruption thing.
Sure.
He'd be the worst kick winning the Brownlow since I
Judd?
say Tony Liberatore. No, Tony was a great inside midfielder, but he couldn't kick further than 30, 40 metres.
Shane
Even
Way.
Prentice would give him a run.
Judd hasn't been able to kick since he got to Carlton.
Yeah, true.
Fyfe isn't going to get any votes next week, so he's probably not going to win.
We'll come back to that and we'll move on. Speaking of people who can't kick, let's move on to the Spudfest at the Dome. That was the worst game of the year for 3.5 quarters till Brisbane broke it open a little bit.
Boring, slow scoring game of footy. The only interesting part probably came in in Paul Roos' press conference when he came to the realisation that even he, the great Paul Roos, can't fix the shit that is Melbourne Football Club.
That was quite an admission.
Basically all year he's instead of trying to polish a turd, he's just tried to make the turd defensive. But
tried to
now
make
he's
it
come to the
hard.
realisation that now it's just this, hard white thing on the nature strip. He's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do with it?
He said that there's players that their careers are ruined by the losing culture, and they probably can't be rescued.
Well, when he says that, I mean,
If Paul Roos can't rescue him, he rescued Sydney.
who can?
Well, maybe they shouldn't have fucking tanked.
Yeah, but that's what he said. That's basically what he said. You can't develop that culture if you've been tanking.
Well, You know, I don't really feel that sorry for them because they're wanting fucking another priority pick this year.
Yeah, fuck
They
that.
can
They can
get
get
fucked.
fucked.
Yep.
But they lose to the Giants on the weekend, and St Kilda win another game. They'll win the spoon again.
Nah, that's St Kilda want the spoon. They want the number 1 pick and get the forward to replace Rewalt.
Hopefully
I-
for them. But
Next
But,
week, I see the Saints tanking their ass off.
Melbourne have Melbourne are more likely to tank because they're likely to lose Frawley, which means they'll probably get 1 and 2 if they finish bottom.
He's not going to
But,
go
but
anywhere.
Ruse-
if
But
clubs are
would
going to
Ruse
give him what
do
he
that though?
wants.
nah, I don't
Ruse
think
doesn't
so.
seem into hype to
No, he's not.
like.
If he wants to turn, if he's serious about that,
He wouldn't
he's
have
not
come
gonna
out and
tank.
said that shit if he didn't want, about their fucked up culture. If he really wanted to tank,
Exactly.
he would have pushed a Baileyism out and.
Anyway, that game was putrid, and both those teams are. Brisbane have a few decent young players, but they've still got plenty of holes, and they've run into 2 pretty shit teams to keep them off the bottom of the ladder.
And got what they deserved.
Yeah.
That's all to say about that.
And they can't win at Etihad as well. They're fucking hopeless there.
No, they're
And
not
the
like
other team-
they're not like Adelaide.
This year,
No, they're not like Adelaide.
only team this year to have not scored 100 points in any of their games.
That's amazing considering that both St Kilda and GWS have done that. And Fremantle as well. Like, they don't score. Anyway, let's move on to the talking points, and we will start with, well, does the AFL have a new purple poofs?
Ooh, yeah. It's a bit of Village People stuff going down at Essendon.
Oh, okay. The whole
Purple bombers.
It's purple.
Gotcha.
Ops.
the rainbow's been painted on the shed at the airport there in Tulla.
Yeah, it's
I mean, why do you need to go out and put a policy
a membership,
Yeah.
yes.
about it?
It's like,
Because
Please
Shouldn't-
tell me David Hill is leading the membership campaign.
he's not, but I imagine he's a silent backer.
I mean, this isn't the first club to do it. I mean, Collingwood had the pink.
No, but that's a
magpies
supporter group.
years ago.
That's a supporter
Yeah,
group
that's-
as
Yeah.
opposed to a membership category. This is why it's weird. Why do you need a new membership category? Is it just Essendon trying to be...
That's why.
Maybe
Okay,
they're trying to
they're just the
reconcile
same.
with Rhymus, because what the fuck is he?
It's just the same as everyone else. So why do you need to have a separate membership category?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I know Essendon like injections more than any other club, but
I mean, it's different. It's different strokes for different folks. Like Hawks have the pet memberships. And Collingwood have the dental memberships.
This one can be the reach around one.
Yeah.
fair enough. But yeah, it's
A bit gay.
a more than a tad silly, and it's
Gay. You can say it. It's gay.
well, of course it is, literally is, but it's just
Say it, Fyfie. It's gay.
it's gay.
But they should just be treated like everybody else. Because they're just like everybody.
It reeks of Essendon trying to.
They're looking
they
for
can
some good PR, that's all.
Yeah, that's what it reeks of. It reeks of a stained club trying to erase some of that. It's like, forget about that time we cheated and put our players' health at risk. Look at how socially inclusive and wonderful we are. Moving on. Anything on the mid-season draft and free agency proposals?
No.
Well, that shit
Don't
happens
do
in
it.
rugby, and there's no fucking way it should
Yeah,
happen.
it's
in
ridiculous that
AFL.
they should be allowed to sign in secret. That's just
There's
fucked.
a reason why clubs have 40-odd players on their list.
And that's another one too, yeah.
Because I know Callum Ward was gone before he played his last game for the Dogs, and
And you didn't
he was
pick
already. Yes, we did. We
Oh, you
picked him
did,
to play.
sorry, you did.
Yeah, and
Bok
the
didn't
crowd
get
booed
picked.
him, and he was already gone in my mind, so he wasn't one of our
Yeah, he
players
shouldn't have been
anymore.
playing.
Yeah, so imagine halfway through the season, one of your players. It just
Nah, that's bullshit.
it wouldn't work.
The NRL system's fucked. Everyone thinks it's
What
fucked.
if your team was in the finals and
But-
he's one of your best players?
Yeah,
I just couldn't support him.
Ablett's last game for Geelong was the 2010 preliminary.
Did
And
you know?
guys
Played out
for that
his
one,
skin.
didn't ya?
We knew that he was going, but he was actually our best player
Yeah.
on the night. We actually got slaughtered by
Well,
Collingwood.
that's the point I make. I mean, Ward would probably be their best player. Well, he probably was their best player at the time.
but it's shit. It's
No,
still
he
shit.
wasn't. No, he wasn't our best player, but he was
Your best
or one of your
prospect.
better players.
He was
Better
one of our
players.
better players, and he was in that middle-aged group of he's now 25, so it screwed us for balance. But
So if you guys are competing for a premiership and he's one of your better players, you still wouldn't want him playing,
to be honest, I'd rather give someone else a chance.
even if that means costing you a premiership.
Well, it's all what ifs.
Yeah, it's what
But,
ifs.
It's all what ifs, and all I can say is that last game I didn't want to see him
The
out.
point is that they shouldn't
No.
be allowed to sign in secret before the end of the season, basically.
Correct.
That seems to be their overriding sentiment, and I agree with Dan on the mid-season draft. You build the list at the start of the year, and that's why you have it.
Yep.
That's what the rookie list is for. It's for those players.
Pick him up in the rookie draft.
Yeah. And before we move on, this week's entrant to the Bay 13 Hall of Fame, who wants to take this one? Because maybe it should be someone who's not me.
Well, there
You've
were
taken
plenty of
enough
us
this year, haven't you?
Not you.
Well, this was a glorious moment for everyone but me, this one. It is K Hunt.
And he took it to the Richmond team, and Fyfie loved it, every minute of it. You were there at that game, weren't you, Fyfe?
No, it was in Cairns.
You never go to their games.
Fuck you.
Fickle, flaky supporter. Sue's like,
He had free tickets to that game in Cairns.
and you still didn't go.
What's the suits? Brutal.
There's a bit of a K-Hunt act there, Fyfie.
He trolled the NRL and he left. He trolled all their Bogan fans, and then he trolled Richmond in just about the worst way after the siren in Cairns against the Suns, and everybody loved it except me. I swore very loudly when he took that mark.
Would you like to reenact what you were saying?
Fuck.
Did you, how close to us Safulu Blue did you get?
That is literally the only time Richmond or any football game has driven me to drink.
So how close were you to flopping your cock out on Bay 13?
Not very, because I'm a restrained person. I'm not a crazy person.
See, I thought you were going to go somewhere else for that. I don't have a lens strong enough.
That's not cool. I'm no Del Santo.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Anyway, we will move on to this week on the Bay. Thread of the week, I would like to nominate Juritz's I'm concerned about Nick Nui thread. Purely
Yeah,
for the
really good.
leprechaun molestation comment, which was just...
I haven't seen that one.
He's basically said, yeah, I'm concerned about all these things that... Something concerned about the leprechauns molesting him in his sleep, but most of all he's concerned about Nick Nui. And he's comparing various ruckmen, Stephen Martin, Jack Watts, not ruckman, but other players like that who most of us regard pretty shit statistically to Nat Nui, and he's got quite a few bites. So that's my nomination.
He did do a good job
Yeah.
there.
I did
And then we
like-
also have Ugak's thread, which just keeps rolling. And the Bulldogs, weren't they the latest addition to the Monopoly board?
I think the
No,
Crows.
the Crows
yeah.
have been the latest one. We've
Oh, the
had the shit
Crows.
fighters.
You're about 3 teams behind. It
Yeah.
was GWS, Port, then the Crows.
And
The
Gold
other
Coast, I
thread-
think, too.
Yeah, how did he manage to do the Gold Coast one? Is there
The
any
Giants
Gold Coast?
The Giants one's more significant. He had to put Prince of Penrith on there.
Yeah.
Someone posted in there saying 2 of them are my aliases.
He did pretty well to dig
sorry.
up a few though for that board.
Yeah, but have you noticed the sections of the board that's supposed to have 3 names, there's only 2 on a couple
Yeah,
of
on the
Even he had to
GWS
push
board
it.
the whole way round.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Marto got a nice blue spot. Joins the club.
Yes, well
Yeah.
done, Marto. You got
Mate,
prime.
See,
real
that just
estate
shows
there,
the
mate.
quality of the Bulldogs supporter group if I'm in the 3rd position. I was looking at the Carlton board one, and I thought, fuck, my
They had
Gibson
3
Yaron
purples.
alias could get blue.
Well, I thought Amstaff was going to be next to me with his Thailand flag, but it didn't turn out to be the case. But
Shouldn't melt so much.
He's a spud.
Any other nominations?
he's my partner in
I
crime.
quite like Hadouken's thread that he thought was a good troll of Coons, only to be shut down on post 2, and talked about Jab Watson.
Anyone got anything
Great
else?
backfire.
How about my thread, Ye Club of Little Faith? And
Is this is like Marto's tradition every time he comes on, nominate his own thread for thread of the
Yeah, I mean, what are you fucking talking about? I don't even know the thread you're talking about.
have you ever known me to create a bad thread?
Actually, I should stick a
you're kidding, aren't ya?
backfire on that thread because you were talking up the Collingwood supporters who'd given up, and then they beat
Which
you.
one?
They've given up. They've given
Every
up.
time
That's 2 backfire threads for Marto in a week.
I haven't
Every
seen
time you
it. I
start
haven't
a
seen
thread-
Marto's thread. Where is it?
Every time you start a thread, Marto, I hear the Divi band backing up.
Oh.
I'm happy to give it to Juris, but I like.
Give it to Duritz. Any
Duritz.
thread which expresses concern about a player or players is A+ in my book.
The bumping of what's the weather like in Melbourne September from Amstuff.
Yes, that was an epic
pretty
bump. Flog of the week. Who do we have? It's a bit.
I was going to nominate Hodgepodge. He's just made a thread.
He's made a few silly threads this week, Podgy. He's been borderline melty with some of it. I think Anus Cat's broken him.
Here we go. Yeah, Angus Cat's broken, Hodgepodge. Here we go. It's sniping. Just another one of life's little tests that Reece Conker fails.
Tried that last week with Vickery too.
He's clearly baiting for a Lee Matthews response. He's spoiling for a fight.
And no one's giving it to him.
I don't think we can give him flog of the week for that though, because everything he said in that post is spot on.
Can we give the flog of the week to... Seriously, can we give the flog of the week to The Age? Because there's just a post that's just come up on Bay 13 where they've copied the Bradbury post.
Yeah, let's give it to them. Why not?
For stealing off us.
Again.
I was going to nominate Penal, but yeah, we can do that.
Especially since The Age's lawyers sent this snippy little letter about copying
articles.
Their articles directly into Big Footy. So what they do, they come back and steal from us.
Stealing our memes. Fuck them.
That thread's going to turn into a shit fight very shortly. M staff's in there. Adelaide and Richmond battling it out for the mediocre cup. Won't take long.
Anyway, last week's poll. When reading out his name at the Brownlow, what will Gillon McLaughlin call Hawthorn's ruckman? 7% said Spiegel Tent, 7% said Seagal, 11% said Steggles, and 75% said nothing because he'll get less votes than Jack Watts.
He'll probably still get more than Natanui.
And Andrew Swallow too.
At least we know who Nick Nat is.
That's injury trolling, Fyfie. You can't do that.
Votes for Jack Watts will not be counted.
Anyway, let's go to next week. We'll start with Richmond Essendon on the Friday.
Are you going?
I'm sick of answering this fucking question. My attendance in this one is potentially conditional upon Grigg not coming in for Conker.
Even if you got free tickets, you wouldn't go.
What if Hampson comes in for Conker?
That's not happening. That's not fucking happening. Griffiths was alright.
I wouldn't rule that out.
I think we'll actually win this.
I think Fyfie won't go, and I think Essendon will probably win.
I'm going to tip Fyfie's going to go and go home upset because Essendon are going to win.
I think Fyfie will go, and he will go home proud. He will drive home proud. Richmond will win.
I don't think Fyfie will go, and because of that, I think Essendon will be inspired to win because of a lack of Fyfie presence.
I think Fyfie will go, but he will leave at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter after Richmond are 10 goals down.
I do not do that. I will say that. If I go, I stay. Anyway, GWS versus North in Canberra.
Alright, I reckon Fyfie's not going to go to this one. And North going to get
North
up.
will win.
This is a legitimate...
No, it's not.
You could legitimately tip GWS this
You
week.
could, but I think
Well,
after last week, North are in credit one win against a bad team. Because they should have beaten Geelong on the normal North pattern.
Yeah, but they'll still go into this with a flaky attitude thinking, oh, this is GWS, we'll just roll them. They could legitimately
I think
win.
North will win, and
I'm
I
being
think
serious.
Jack might flat track bully a little bit and buy himself some more time.
I think whether North will win or not will depend on whether
Andrew
fucking
Swallow,
Thomas... No, it will depend on whether Lindsay Thomas is a selfish little bitch again. If he he kept trying to be the hero on Saturday night. He turned about 3 certain goals into points or out on the fulls because he went for the impossible shot instead of giving it to a teammate in the net position. If he does that again, North will lose.
But Penal, what if Andrew Swallow shows some leadership and... Oh, sorry. Never mind.
What happened?
That's a given, Ant. He's 100% leadership, and he's a quality player.
Dude, he's a worse captain than Richie Vandenberg.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Done.
low blow.
I'm done.
Low blow.
Tips.
Done. No, I'm not tipping.
I think
Upset him, Penal.
that Anne might go. Suze won't. But but North will win.
The Big Footy service could be in a bit of trouble. They will go nuclear if North this one up. I think North will get over the line. I think Petrie will enjoy downhill skiing against GWS, so North for me.
2-year anniversary of the infamous Cthulhu game, Carlton versus Gold Coast. It's at Etihad this time. But I think the Suns, Carlton are shit, I think the Suns will. Got a bit of confidence up, I think they'll win. They know now they can win without Ablett, even if it was against St Kilda.
I think that Cthulhu will go, and I think that Carlton will win.
I think Safulu Blues little fella will stay in his pants and Gold Coast will
No, he's
win.
not going to. He's not going to show a maker in his pants.
No.
Oh well.
I think that Gold Coast will win this one, and there will be penis all over the bay.
Boss Galaxies.
Boss Junior.
That's probably what he fucking calls it.
You're disgraceful,
It's like,
Marto.
Boss Junior.
I think Carlton win, and I won't be posting about it.
And Dan,
Unless Penal wants to apologise, mentioning Richie Vandenberg in the same sense as Andrew Swallow, I'm not tipping.
Oh, fucking get over yourself. Hawthorn supporters are fucking abusive. Just
goo and tears. Goo and tears. All right,
gonna be a
Dan,
shitty
Dan,
bitch. Tip.
Look, I'll give you one thing there, Dan. He's not as bad as Tom Harley. See, you laughed, so it didn't work.
Speaking of goo, we'll move on to Hawthorn and Melbourne. Penal foreshadowed
Jesus.
this could be a 100-point game.
I think Melbourne haven't lost by 100 points all year, so in a way that's seen as an improvement under Roos, but I think that's all about to change this week.
Melbourne will crack the ton for the first time this year, in the margin category.
They will get fucking hammered. Hawthorn by 100.
Liam Shields to 50 and 5.
Ugh, goo. It's not even realistic goo.
No, I know. It's you know.
Penal's probably a goo-chugging faggot who likes the smell of his own farts and will probably go to this game.
I'm not Suze.
And, I'll tip this game. I think Hawthorn will win quite easily.
You've upset him.
Hawthorn will struggle against
You've got him very
Roos' shit game plan, but they'll win by 5 goals.
I'm going to go with Marto there. I don't think it's going to be the 100-point thrashing. I don't reckon Hawthorn will get out of second gear all game. It'll be a bit of a training run.
They don't need to. Swap the 4 points.
All right, Port versus the Colders at Adelaide Oval. The former Portress.
Ooh.
I see a
Will
9.8% chance
Will
of
Marto go?
I reckon
Marto plopping his cock
Marto
out
will
on
go.
day 13.
Yeah, I reckon Marto will go, and he's going to have to take a bit of Anusol with him to help with his bleeding anus, because Sydney will win.
I think that several thousand Adelaide Crows fans will go to Boo Tippett because he hasn't been back to Adelaide to play the Crows yet.
They won't get tickets. Sell out.
No, this won't sell out because all the fucking bandwagoners have jumped off. Anyway, I gave my tips sort of earlier in the episode.
Teach killed him.
If Buddy plays, Port will win. If Buddy misses, Sydney will win.
Coles will win either way for me.
Yep.
I think Sydney will win, and I hope they win by quite a bit because we need a proper reality check. We need something need a real boot up the bum.
Losing to Collingwood didn't do that?
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's too easy to make the excuse, we got within a goal. You know, if we'd done this and if we'd done that, we would have won. That you could use that excuse for any of our losses this year. We haven't.
So what was your excuse for losing to Richmond? Come on.
Oh, we didn't lose
Troy
by
Chaplin.
much. It's the same thing. Fucking Troy Chaplin. Fucking spud. I hate that man. He's a Richmond for 2 minutes. Oh, look at me. I'm going to pat my jumper. Fucking wanker.
He's a better leader than Andrew Swallow.
Tell you what, Marto,
And
even
he's
if you
scared
guys...
of the fans. He's
starting to melt.
scared of the supporters.
Nothing better than a melt on the big.
Even if you guys do get pumped this week, you probably won't get pumped by 110. I don't think you guys are quite that bad.
Fuck.
And speaking of 110, Geelong versus Fremantle at the
What?
shithole.
I was going to say, the purple poofs.
Freo will smack them.
Freo have home ground advantage, don't they?
Pretty much.
Freo have the mental edge, that's for sure.
Well, Freo have the wood on Geelong, but, and this is a big but, not unlike Boomer's misses,
Butts, I cannot lie.
their form is just so awful, I can't see them winning. Geelong should win by 6 goals.
Well, looks like everyone's tipped. Let's move on to Brisbane Adelaide.
Fuck did Geelong get 2 wins before? Honestly, that's ridiculous. Anyway, Freo will win. Freo, they're home away from home. Geelong will lose this, and Freo will move up to 3rd.
Geelong's youth isn't as good as Andrew Swallow's leadership.
Brisbane Adelaide.
Shut the fuck up.
Alright, I'm going to tip... I'm going
yeah.
to go to Lions in this one. It's going to be
Hey,
an
shut
upset
up,
at
shut
the
up,
Gabba.
shithead. Shut up.
Crows for me.
Cats.
Yeah, Crows will win.
Cats,
We
we've
are
already
going to
moved on.
smack
If Adelaide were
Living
playing at the Dome, I'd tip them.
out
I'm
of
going to go for the
Fremantle.
Lions.
Go Cats. Yes. We're not going to lose again for the rest of the year. Fuck you.
Teach.
Do you have a tip on the actual game we're tipping
I'm
on?
tipping the
Shut up,
Lions.
Daz Broncos. Go Cats all day.
Yeah, I know you're just trying to talk over the top of me, but, get fucked.
All right, Marto.
I think we're all praying that Brisbane will win, but I think the Canaries will fall over the line.
Stop Pierce Hanley and Adelaide are a chance.
Where's this
Who's
being
playing
played?
the banjo?
Where's this game being
Someone's gone
played?
all deliverance at us, hasn't they? Ding, ding, ding.
This isn't at the Dome, Teach, so Adelaide probably won't win.
Ooh, tough to pick. Very tough. I'll go with the Crows.
Who's going to win Geelong and Freo, Teach?
No.
Already
Shut
fucking
up.
told you, mate. The Cats are going to fucking nail them.
Go back to
It sounded
spaces.
butthurt there. Those finals losses have really gotten to you, haven't they?
Fucking purple poofs.
St Kilda versus the Dogs. St Kilda are shit. Bulldogs.
I just can't
Bulldogs.
see St Kilda giving up their number 1 draft pick. So, as inconsistent as the Dogs have been this year, I just don't see Sydney winning. Dogs for mine and a moral win to St Kilda.
Woof,
Yeah,
woof.
Bulldogs.
The Dogs will win and will grant McCartney a reprieve on the Bulldogs board.
Grant McCarthy, it's a new one.
No, as in grant him a reprieve, man.
Yeah, that's the joke. Oh, jeez. Bulldogs will scrape over the line. I think their confidence will have taken a little bit of a hit against Hawthorn, but they should do enough. St Kilda will be fired up, but they'll lose.
Anyway, last game of the round, West Coast versus Collingwood over in Perth. I reckon on the basis of the way the season's gone, the fact that the teams who look like they're going to consolidate in the 8 lose, so on that count, West Coast will win. Because Collingwood will think they've done the job.
I'm going
I
to tip
think so.
Collingwood.
No, I agree with you, Fyfie. I think the West Coast, off the back of their big win in Adelaide last week, I reckon they'll roll them. Yep.
Collingwood.
I think Collingwood played their grand final against Port last week, so West Coast for me.
Collingwood's midfield to shit all over West Coast, and Collingwood will get the chockies.
This is the man who called, what's his fucking name?
Pritis.
Pritis.
Yeah,
You called
he's
Pritis the
one
best
player.
midfielder.
He can't carry the team all on
He
his
can't,
own every
he can't
week.
carry them. If he played at Geelong, he'd be a fucking superstar.
If you played at North Melbourne, he'd be their captain.
He's like,
Yeah, that's
he's
funny.
like Selwood without the ducking. He's just a much more respected player than Selwood because he doesn't have that negative side to his game.
He's definitely more respected than Selwood, definitely.
Well, that goes without
I think
saying.
that's unanimous.
Listen to
I
you
don't,
two
I don't
shitty.
see anyone saying Selwood should be knighted.
You won't
fucking
see. You
victory
won't
round.
see anyone
Yes,
throwing
sir,
breadcrumbs at Pritis.
Bitches, shut up.
He doesn't live in a pond. We don't need to feed the ducks when Pritis comes around.
I will say one thing about Andrew Swallow. He's a better captain than Selwood.
Yes.
I'm not fighting, dickhead.
Although that's not an overly big endorsement, being better than a duck.
And yes, this was the Flogcast for round 25.
That it.
joined
We're
by-
leaving.
Yep.
We didn't make Teach melt enough.
Fyfie joined by Ant.
I think Fyfie will go to this vlogcast.
Dan.
Yeah. What do you want, Fyfie? Is there something you wanted?
I
No.
thought he was saying something about weight before, then he's going to the game.
I wanted Andrew Swallow to show some leadership, but I should probably give up on that.
Oh.
Might be waiting a while.
Oh yeah. You,
Penal,
Liam Shields Brownlow bandwagon, get on it.
Teach,
Good night.
and Marto.
Bye there.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Andrew Swallow is probably the best captain in this competition right now.
Yeah, and there's the echo of everyone who agrees with you.
No,
Well, that moment just finished.
No, silence just only confirms what I'm saying.
We're speechless at that Susism.
As long as Selwood's still playing, Swallow will never be the worst.